Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Greasy, but of course, not literally. And today I just kind of wanted to have a talk about an ongoing feud I've seen on the internet for the past couple months, I guess. I don't know. More, it's grown a lot since it started, that's for sure. But I guess you could say it's a feud that spanned decades, but I see it rising up again here, and that's for Sonic Crossworlds versus Mario Kart World. And as you guys know, I mostly cover Nintendo stuff on this channel, and you would probably think, oh, you're a Mario truther. You love that Mario, huh? I'm like, yeah, I do like Mario Kart World. I do understand its criticisms, but at the end of the day, I do think it is a good game. Does that justify its criticisms? Not really, but at the end of the day, I think that a lot of the gameplay points that people complain about aren't as legit as, I think that, I don't know, the intermissions and stuff. We'll get into that. But, they did drop a Sonic Crossworlds demo on this, on the Switch and PC and consoles, all the shit. There was a thing where apparently the Sonic Crossworlds demo was having trouble starting on the Switch or something like that, or like people couldn't download it. I saw a lot of people say, oh, Nintendo's salty, and I was like, yeah, I didn't know. People were like, we're going to war if they don't allow the game to be played on Switch. I'm like, okay, guys. Yeah, y'all love to talk about war, and it's just complaining on Twitter. But I did play. I played about 3 races. That's the gameplay you'll be seeing in this video. And I want to give my overall thoughts and compare it to what I have played in Mario Kart World. And it's a solid racing game. I don't know. What I think it's better than Mario Kart World, it's kind of hard to say. I do think it's not... To be fair to Sonic Crossworlds, I am playing like the Switch 1 version. I don't believe there is a Switch 2 version. I do believe it drops later on than the Switch 1 version. Like they're going to drop a Switch 1 version, then a 2. I do think that it's not as pretty looking as Mario Kart World. I saw a lot of people like, it looks uglier than 8. What the fuck? Y'all are stupid. They'll show like the worst shot you can show of it or something. It's a really well crafted game. I do find it to be very, very beautiful when you're doing races and stuff like that. To be fair to Sonic Cross, I mean, I've seen gameplay of like the PS5 version and stuff, so I know how it does and how it's supposed to look. But I did find on the Switch version, even well on my Switch 2, as some of you may know, the Switch 2 does boost the performance of like most Switch 1 games and their frame issues. I did not find this in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. I did see, and you might be able to catch it in the gameplay, a lot of frame dips and whatnot. I find that very curious. I don't know, maybe it's just not very well optimized or something. Either that or it's some issue with the game itself, or maybe it just doesn't work well with the hardware. I don't know, okay? But I didn't find that it was working. I mean, it ran fine. Like, I don't know, I've gone over it multiple times. I do not mind when a game has like a 30 FPS. Like, I don't mind that. I don't really mind that as long as the game's good. But this game, it dipped a little bit. I mean, this isn't a big issue. It's like the Switch 1 version. I'm just surprised that it would dip on the Switch 2. So I am assuming that it's probably something with the game itself. Maybe it doesn't mesh well with the hardware. I don't know. But yeah, it's a solid racing game. I had a lot of fun. I'm not a big Sonic person, and I see this a lot on mostly Twitter, is that Sonic fans are obnoxious, and that kind of makes me dislike Sonic as a whole. I do have obviously real criticisms with Sonic games. I'm not a big fan. I don't like the 3D Sonic games. I find them to be a little boring, and you're running super fast. I'm like, the running fast sections kind of feel very hand-holdy. Like, I don't know. I like to think that maybe the best of Sonic is in the 2D games. I challenge you guys, Sonic fans, if you see this video, recommend me what you think the best of Sonic is, and I'll play it, I'll do a review on it, and maybe that'll change my mind. I'm always open to new experiences, but as of now, I'm not a big Sonic person. This game is a good racing game, though. I do find that it was very fun. I see a lot of people say, well, Mario Kart World, it's boring. You got the intermission tracks. You got, this game is fast-paced, nonstop action. And, it was, pretty fast-paced, nonstop action. I think my most fun I had was maybe on the first track. And then I find it might have been the second track. I think it was the first track was probably the most fun. And I was just kind of trying to get used to, I'm not, an item pops up. I have no clue what it does. I'm not a Sonic fan, so I don't know what it necessarily means, but it was all right. But Sonic fans seem to have this very competitive attitude when it comes to Mario. And, I see people say they see Mario fans, be really competitive with Sonic. I don't ever see that. So when I say that Sonic fans are kind of the problem, that's from my point of view. I don't see Mario fans when there's a new Sonic game coming out. I don't see them, Mario better. I don't see that, And I do see a lot of people when a new Sonic game comes out. They love being rent-free about Mario for some reason. It's so stupid. Even Sega themselves, they dropped some goofy commercial where they were like, don't want to play slow racing games. And they're obviously using Mario Kart World footage, but it's blurred. And I even remember, it might have been Summer Games Fest. They had like a presenter come out and he was like, Sonic Crossworlds, you can play it on everything, unlike some racing games. And I just find that so scummy and weird that Sega would actively call out Nintendo. It's probably all in fun, but I also do find it weird considering, I feel like a majority of Sonic fans, after, Sega stopped making consoles and stuff, went to play Sonic games that they were still making on Nintendo consoles, GameCube, Wii, stuff like that. I feel like that's where they were going. So I do find it a little bit hypocritical to be kind of dissing probably one of your, I'm assuming most Sonic games probably sell well or better on Nintendo hardware. I just find it a little scummy. I don't know. I don't think it's probably not that deep. It probably is just like a fun, goofy, competitive type of thing. But I see a lot of Sonic fans really rubbing that in. They're like, whoa, yeah, Sega does what Nintendo don't. They love bringing that one up. And I'm like, yeah, well, guess what? Who still has a console? Fucking little worms. You guys are, it's wormy. Sonic fans are so wormy. I hate it. I don't have fun with Sonic games. I'm not a Sonic fan, so maybe, somebody who does enjoy Sonic games, it's probably fun to hate on Mario. I don't see it. I'm not going to go hate on Sonic because I don't enjoy Sonic games. I'm just not going to speak on it. And from what I played from this, like the, 30 minutes, you guys won't see the full 30 minutes. I'm not going to make a 30-minute video on a racing game. But, I did enjoy it. I thought it was fun. But I don't think that's inherently the Sonic IP. I just thought it was an okay racing game. It's fine. I do think it is a bit arcadey. Very arcade, like arcade racing game, like, I don't know, Need for Speed, those kind of games. It kind of reminded me of, and this might be a bad comparison, to be fair, I haven't played it in a while. It kind of reminded me of, what's it called? I think it's like called Mario Kart DX or something. It's like a Mario Kart arcade machine racing game. And it's kind of like that's like really colorful. It's fast paced. There's like 50 items or something like that. And, yeah, I don't know. I find that kind of funny. Not to say that that's bad, but it is, at its heart, does feel like a very arcade machine racing game, which is interesting. And to note the DLC characters, I do find it very strange. People $80 for Mario Kart is outrageous, and I do agree with that. But the fact that a lot of characters are locked behind DLC and to have the full package at launch is $90 just feels kind of weird. I've seen a lot of Sonic fans criticize the price of that and the fact that a lot of the characters, I don't think any of the characters have voice acting. A lot of the DLC characters and stuff like that, Miku, Joker, the guy from Yakuza. I'm not a big Yakuza guy, so I don't really know the name of him. Not that I dislike Yakuza, it's just I haven't had too much of an experience with it. I did play a bit of Zero. I would like to get into the games. I was thinking about buying Zero on Switch, but I have not yet. I think if that's like a game I'll buy if I see it like physically in like a GameStop or something whenever I'm near one. I might get that, but you know, who knows when that's gonna happen. So yeah, at the end of the day, I do think it is a fine racing game. I do think people who compare the two are kind of corny. I saw a lot of Sonic fans going into like a Nintendo tweet talking about like, oh, Mario Kart World's first Grand Tour is going to be in Europe or something. And then all the comments were just like an RV in a desert or something. It's like, dude, like people don't really, I don't know. I think people who criticize the intermission tracks haven't played the game, and you might have played the game and you might have criticized them, but with every experience I have had on the intermission tracks, it is 24 players on a tight road and they all have items and there's a bunch of crap going on. So it is chaotic. I don't really understand where people get the idea that it's just, oh, you're driving 50cc, there's nothing going on. I'm like, come, guys, it gets old. You know, I do find the intermission tracks to be fun most of the time. You know, I had a friend when, you know, I first got my Switch 2, we played some split screen Mario Kart World, and he actually disliked it for the reason that he found that it was too chaotic. And I'm not joking. He said, I don't like this. There's too much going on. I feel like the amount of racers has kind of like ruined my fun with the game. I don't know. I feel like that's also probably a complaint that a lot of people have. I don't mind it. Does it get a little too hectic sometimes? Maybe. But I don't know. I think Sonic fans just get a little salty. The game is good. I like it. It was fun to play. Will I pick it up? Probably not, because at the end of the day, it is a good racing game, but I'm not a Sonic person. Like I said earlier, prove me wrong. Recommend me a Sonic game. I will play it the moment you comment. I will find a way, and I will play it, and I will give a review on it. All I'm saying. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's a fine racing game. Hopefully when it gets a Switch 2 version, it does look a little better. You know, I mean, I'm sure it will. I don't see a reason why it would just be the Switch 1 version with a boosted frame rate. That would be pretty stupid. But yeah, that's all I really got to say about it. It's all right. Sonic fans are annoying. Kirby Air Riders will kill both racing games when it comes out. It's as simple as that. All right, guys. If you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing. If not, don't. But if you did, please. I'm a small channel. Everything helps. And, I'm greasy, but of course, not literally. And I will see you all next time.